Hi everybody, 314 Reactor here. Elegoo have sent me one of their latest products, which is the mini car. So let's go through the construction of it, and then we'll do a quick review of the functionality of it, and then look to some potential project ideas with it. At the time of filming this isn't available, but I think by the time this video will go up, it should be available. Anyway, let's see what's in the box. PVC tape, screwdriver, the main board, USB for programming the board, looks like a little connector of sorts, 2 wheels, the battery pack, there are screws, a roller, 2 motors, very similar to the ones on their other robot car, screws, nuts, connector, and then part of the chassis itself. In theory, that should just pop out from the middle there. Yeah, it should. Right, cool. So let's try and slice this without damaging the wood. Alright, we're in. Okay. Yeah, there you go. You can just push them out. Push them out. There's the wheel. There's the main chassis. Push it out. There we go. Oh, that's really cool. That's cool. Of course, this will push out. Yeah. All the main components for the chassis push out nicely. These little bits here. There we go. 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 And that there. Through there. A bit here. There. There. This wood smells really nice as well. Not sure if it's real wood or some sort of MDF or something, but it smells nice. It smells a bit like bacon, actually. That's pretty cool. Don't know if that's intentional. Oh, it's okay, don't worry. Yeah, it really does smell like bacon. Alright, so let's go ahead and try and put this bad boy together. Okie dokie, so Elegoo have quite nicely provided a video to help with the assembly, which I'll be following. Alrighty, so that is everything out of the bags now and ready to go. The first thing you need to do is to get this. Let's play the video forward. Okay, get it that way. Slots onto there. Like so. Put it around. It goes on there. What I really like about these projects is that pretty much they can be made with everything in the box, so you don't need any external screwdrivers or anything because one's included. Put the motor in like so. Okay, I think this bit goes on next over the top of that. Okay, make sure it's screwed on tight. Like so. Like so. Time for the other side. Yep, motor facing forward. And it's the same for this side as it was the other side. Back to the main board. One facing back, slots in. And this one slides in like that. Another support that goes through. The right motor goes to the right port. Get that. It goes. Put a screw in there. And then the next tyre on. Next screw in. So the battery box is next. That goes over 2 pylons, I think. Cool, so that's on. And that connector. It's probably best to put the connector in before screwing the battery on, but never mind. Yeah, definitely plug the battery in before screwing it onto the pylons. And nicely. And we get the expansion board. Make sure that's nice and secure. Now I think we move on to the chassis. So that goes on like so. Okay, so that's the bonnet part on, and then the front bit goes on here. Windscreen piece slips on like so. This goes on the back here. This goes on here. That goes on there. So let's get that on here again, through there. That clicks on to the top. Slots it nicely. This comes around like so. Plugs in. Okay, now I believe we get to the spare wheel. Let's put that boy through, and that connects into the back. Okay, and there we go. So you got your the programming port, on-off button, mode changer, charger. This controls whether it's controlled by Bluetooth via the Elegoo app, or whether you want to program it from a computer using the Arduino IDE. So there's LEDs on the front as well as I think infrared sensor there as well. So it can do obstacle avoidance. You can program it to do its own things. It can explore. There's a great variety of modes and things you can do with it. And of course there's the expansion ports on the top, so you can add various other sensors to it. I think you can even add servos to that as well. Very enjoyable actually to build, and the fact it all comes out of the box and doesn't require any additional tools is really cool. And I really love this sort of wooden material they've got with it. It gives it a really unique look. I really like it. So as you can see, constructing it is really easy. The instructions are very easy to follow. This chassis that it's made of is really nice, sturdy and easy to click together, as well as take apart if you need to do any maintenance to it. One thing I did get wrong was that I put the connections from the motors to the wrong ports on the board, so it actually ended up going backwards when it should have been going forwards. So you have to make sure that the right motor goes in the right plug and the left motor goes in the left plug on the board. That way it'll go the right way. That's the only problem I ran into, which was my fault. And it was easy enough to fix, because all you have to do is disconnect this, take off the top, and then take out the battery and then switch it around. So let's move on to using some of the functionality of this. So there's 4 modes to the car. The first is standby mode, where the front LEDs are not on. So that's just turn it on. There's an LED on the side to show that it's on, but the front LEDs, the headlights, aren't on. The first mode is line follow mode. You have green LEDs. This is where it will follow a line on the floor. We'll see what that does in a minute. The second mode is avoidance mode with yellow LEDs. The third mode is follow mode. So this will follow objects, and it's got blue LEDs on the front. And the fourth mode is explore mode with the white LEDs on the front, and this is where it will maneuver around, and you can put it on a table and it will detect when it gets to the edge of the table and stop it falling off. You get to these modes just by tapping the button, so it's just one time. Each click moves it to a different mode, so it's in standby mode now. So 1 is mode 1, 2 click, mode 2, 3, 4, and back to standby. Let's see these modes in action. So here's the track I've set up with some electrical tape. There's a relatively straight line here, a bit of an angle there, and then a really tight sort of hairpin around there to really test its capabilities. So let's get it in mode, get the camera focused, and let's see how well it will do it. Put it down. Here's the roll test. Here's the roll test. Can it do the tight angle? Oh. So as you can see, it follows the path quite well, but it does struggle with really tight corners. I think that could be due to the spaced outness of the detectors on the bottom. If they're a bit wider, I think it might be able to handle it. Or there could be something in code, which I may need to have a look at, that could enable it to get around those tight corners. Could be possible that it needs to go a bit slower, but at the moment it just can't handle the extremely tight corners. So let's move on to obstacle avoidance mode. And let's let it go. It's got itself trapped in a bit of a corner there. So obstacle avoidance mode works pretty well. The only trouble is it can get a bit stuck in tight corners. I think that's just because it has the one IR detector on the front determining where it goes, because it seems to get itself trapped at the moment and keeps trying to turn. It may need a reverse function to pull out and then re-identify where it's going and then move to a different direction. So that could be worked around with that. Also during obstacle avoidance mode you can see that when it comes to darker surfaces it has trouble detecting it, so it tends to come a lot closer to crashing into them. I think that could be due to the way the infrared sensor works, I'm not sure, but you can tell when it was going into the darker wood it would get closer before stopping, almost hitting it, rather than the lighter surfaces where it'd stop a good 10 centimeters before. But here, it should follow my foot. Try another random object. Right. So again, follow mode works pretty well. The only issue I've found is that it won't actually steer to turn towards objects. I think that's only because it's got the one sensor at the front. Other than that, it will follow things pretty directly. It would be cool if there was another sensor or another couple of sensors on the front so that it could detect when something's moving left or right, so it could actually turn corners. But other than that, it works pretty well. So let's move on to the final mode, which is exploring mode. Okay, so let's get the car ready to use explore mode. I'm using on a lighter surface here. Darker surfaces don't tend to work so well, I think because of the way the IR sensors on the bottom work. So let's give this a go. So that shows pretty much how well it avoids driving off of something. So if we do it with something a bit more objects on it, we can get a bit more of a test of how well it avoids objects and stops itself from driving off the edge. So let's give it a try on my computer desk here and see how well it manages to avoid the various sized objects on here, as well as preventing itself from driving off the edge. You can see under that surface there, it just stops. I think because it thinks it's driven off an edge, because it's not getting a reflection back off of this dark material into the IR sensor. So I've got this clear space to run on here. I've got my keyboard set up as a kind of wall there so it can try and avoid that. I've noticed it tends to get stuck underneath the monitor, but that's because it thinks it can go forward, but obviously it doesn't know the top of it is getting stuck on the monitor. So let's see how it goes now. So it's having a bit of an issue with the darker surface of the keyboard rest there. So let's try and make the surface a bit lighter so it can detect it easier. This should work. A few coasters. There we go. So again, we're seeing the darker surfaces there, it has trouble detecting. There we go, so it's avoided that and stopped itself driving off the edge. The thing I think could really make this a bit better is having an ultrasonic sensor as well to get around that sort of infrared issue. So that's another pretty cool mode. Again, works the same as the obstacle avoidance mode and also stops itself from running off the top of tables, so you can safely operate it on a raised surface and not worry about it driving off the edge. Next up is moving on to the Bluetooth application, which allows you to remotely select these modes as well as directly control the car itself from an app on either Android or iPhone. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Bluetooth app on my iPod here. You can get the app on the Android store or the Apple store. So you simply turn the button here from D to B, Bluetooth mode, switch on, and then you select the robot car, and rocker control, and then connect, and it should find the connection. There we go. That's now connected, and let's give that a quick test. There we go. So now we're connected, we now have complete control over the car. That's really smooth movement, really nice tight turning circle. There's also the different modes that can be activated. So you can have the avoidance mode, the line following mode, the following mode, and the exploration mode. Oh, and there's a little horn on there as well. So you can go, select to avoid obstacles. And if it gets trapped, you can switch back manual control. And then there is the gyroscope mode, which allows you to move the car by moving the device around like so. Try it back, spin it around. Okay, so that's, forward and back, and so as you can see, moving the device forward moves the car forward, moving it back moves it back, and then you can twist it around to steer it about. It's a little bit sensitive, it can end up going into walls very easy, but it's still very cool. There's also a really cool feature on this where you can add in your own programming from the Bluetooth app using scratch-like controls. So you can drag and drop loops in by the looks of it. You can set the lighting controls, you can get it to move, you can get it to react from the sensors and variables. So you don't really even have to plug it into the Arduino IDE on a PC in order to get some programming onto it. You can do it straight from a tablet or a mobile phone. That could open up some really interesting things. And the last mode is the DIY control. So you can add in your own buttons. And you can use this to send custom messages into the serial interface of the Arduino, and then use your own programming to respond to those codes so you can get it to do custom things, which is similar to what I used for my Scorpion project a couple of months back. You can also use this in combination with the I/O ports on the top there, as you can see, so you can attach other sensors and devices, and then you could then use this custom control panel to get those devices to do things. So the car has plenty of functionality as it is, but you can expand it in many ways, which is really awesome, and I can't wait to do something with it. Now, if you want to upload code, it's very simple. What you do is take the car, make sure that the switch is set to data mode, and then plug in a micro USB cable, like so. And with the IDE open, with the default code that they have, just make sure that it's set to upload to the Arduino Nano, make sure it's got the right port, and make sure the programmer is set to Arduino as ISP. Once all that's set up, you can hit Control U, and it will compile the sketch and upload it to the car, and then done. So thanks to Elegoo for sending me the car. It's worth keeping in mind that this one is an early version, so some of the issues that I've had with it may be resolved by now. I have reported them to Elegoo, but they're very minor issues. It does work straight out of the box very well and offers a lot of expandability and a lot of programmability, and is very easy to get used to, and I would highly recommend it if you want to get into robotics, or you're already into robotics but you want a good platform to work from to have something that you can customize and expand. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and all the links for this and the Elegoo website are in the description, as well as links to my blog and my Hackster and Electromaker pages. So keep an eye out there for a future project which I'll be doing with this car. I haven't thought of something yet, but I'm noting some things down and having a think. Perhaps maybe something with a Raspberry Pi, maybe more machine learning like my last project. But yeah, the possibilities are endless.